Welcome to It's a Long Road, the Rambo Series podcast. I'm your host, and joining me on this episode is Jared Talkstein. If you like the cut of Jared's jib on this episode, check him out on an episode we did together on the same Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network feed, where we covered Burt Reynolds' Heat. He's agreed to come do something again. Maybe First Blood's a little bit better film than Heat. Jared, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. It's a pleasure to return to the network. You know, I'm looking forward to talking about First Blood. It's probably a little better film than Heat in my estimation.
How dare you?
Although Heat, we did talk about was a nice surprise, I think.
Going in with Burt Reynolds expectations for a 1985 film, we had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to believe First Blood came out 3 years before Heat.
Oh, man.
You think
totally.
You think Heat or Burt Reynolds would have been like, you know what? We got to up our game a little bit. 3 years previous to this film, we had First Blood. But no, we'll do Heat. Why don't you introduce who you are and what podcast you represent? What do you do on your show?
Okay. My name is Jared Talkstein, and I'm one of the co-hosts of the Hyperspace podcast, the full name being the Hyperspace Podcasting in the 25th Century. And me and my co-hosts, Matt and Mike, we talk about the kind of pop culture and stuff that we grew up with in the 70s and 80s. Because, Ryan, as you know, the 70s and 80s were the best time ever for pop culture, movies, television, music. Yeah, that's kind of what we talk about on our show and how it's impacted us as we've grown into middle age.
What do you got going on for the month of April, May kind of? What's the latest episodes and what's the future here, near future?
We're finishing out April we're going to be completing our 5th season of the show. And we usually take a couple of months off a couple times a year. So we're getting ready to finish that up. But in May, we will be doing weekly shows because we'll be following the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus. So all throughout May and some of June, we'll be doing that. Then in the middle of the summer, we'll be back with another season of regular shows from the Hyperspace. One of my favorite episodes we've done was just kind of this discussion about fast food apps, terrible drive-through experiences. And it really was just one of my favorite shows we've ever done. And it's like this half-hour thing that has nothing to do with pop culture, but I think it's a good starter episode if anybody wants to jump in. It's called The Shake Machine Is Not Working.
I love it. There's a conspiracy about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't spoil the conspiracy behind ice cream machines not working.
We talk about kind of how it impacts us when the shake machines are not working, right. But we don't really get into the conspiracy. Of course, we are aware of it.
Okay, good.
So,
all right. Well, that's awesome. I think you're an excellent podcaster. You have a great voice for podcasting. I don't mean that just the tone and timbre, but also your insights, thoughts are very concise. And
thank you.
You're an easy edit on my end.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. And right back at you. I should say at the outset, I am more of a Rocky guy than a Rambo guy. I definitely grew up with Rocky, and I was not allowed as a kid to watch R-rated films.
Are you allowed to
the ones, if my wife deems them appropriate, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came to Rambo pretty late. I didn't see First Blood till I was in college in the mid-90s.
Holy smokers. That's the first question I ask my guest host. What is your relationship with Rambo and specifically First Blood? So you saw it as a young adult.
Yeah, I was in college when I saw it, probably 95 when I saw First Blood. Of course, I've subsequently seen all of the sequels.
Okay. Well, what's your overall thoughts on First Blood? Do you remember what you felt at the time? I mean, this was, almost 30 years ago, but what was your thoughts at the time in 95 when you saw it?
One thing that struck me about this film, and the last 10 minutes of the movie really tie it together for me. Stallone's performance in that particular section of the film is really great. It is good acting. It's not good acting for Stallone. It's good acting.
Agreed.
I mean, it's a great performance. That's what impacted me. It was a mixture of kind of a rousing adventure action movie up until that point where I think the tone changes dramatically. It gets really serious. And not to say that the events of the movie aren't serious, but like Rocky, Rambo is a character in his original film who transformed into something else later.
Sure. Well, to say Rocky didn't transform into some sort of superhero action figure in parts 3 and 4 would be lying.
Yes. He has since been brought back to Earth in subsequent movies. But
Yes.
and I don't know. I guess you could argue the same has happened with John Rambo to some degree.
For the different reasons that they provide, for the silliness, for the craziness, for the fun. Because at the end of the day, all the Rambo films are fun. They're just fun. I love Rambo 3. There's some great moments in it. It's silly, it's bonkers, but I love it.
Your enthusiasm is completely infectious because
Oh.
it comes across as a listener to the show.
Well, I appreciate it.
You love this as much as you love Rocky, which is saying something because I know you love Rocky.
I love Rocky and I love Rambo. If you're listening to this Rambo series and if you are a Rocky fan and you want to check out my other show, it's called One More Round, the Rocky series podcast on the same network. There might be some bleed over, but I think I got listeners of this show who don't listen to Rocky episodes, which is great. And like you were saying, Jared, you're more of a Rocky guy. And so I was raised on both. I loved Rocky and Rambo at the same time for different reasons for the same amount of years, if that makes sense. I was raised on both characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say before you start? I'm sorry.
No, don't even apologize. No. You
Because
stop talking.
I've got you here live. I'd like to tell you that you and Katie and Kyle are killing it on the new Rocky show.
Oh.
I am loving that show.
Oh, thank you very much.
So great job.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Have you listened to these Rambo episodes by chance?
I've listened to the first two,
Okay.
but I am a little behind. So
How dare you? Oh,
I'm
boy.
sorry.
Well, at the time of this recording, only episode 3 is out for you to listen to. So, all right, you're not
Okay.
that far behind. It's okay.
Okay, well, I feel better then.
Well, nobody has to listen to my show for the Rambo series. I'm actually going to be getting listeners or guest hosts that may have never listened to my show. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be branching out to some other hosts of other podcasts. That's the goal. Is to kind of reach out. I get to reach out a little bit further out of the circle of the slidum, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're one of those. You're kind of you're sort of that first kind of branching out outside of the network hosts. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
well,
we got a good part here.
well, you lucked out. This is all random. So whoever my next guest is after you, I actually don't know where we're going to start because it all depends where we end. So how we end this episode is just, we do about an hour of recording. So it's just going to have a natural ending where it might be. I kind of have an idea where it might be, but if it's after or before, that's fine. Last episode, I did an episode with Kyle, who is my co-host on the One More Round podcast. He had to go. He had a hard out, and it's too bad because we got literally to the part where Rambo is overlooking the cliff, and he had to go. He couldn't make the jump. He couldn't make the leap.
Man, this is arguably the most iconic scene in the film.
Yeah, it's insane. But I want you to see here again, Jared, just Sly and, of course, Sly the actor, but Rambo, we talked about it, so I won't talk about too much because we talked about what Sly was doing in real life at the edge of the cliff, but I want you just to get a feel, again, of the peril that Mr.
Sure.
John Rambo's in. Okay, so John's heard the barking of the dogs. He's at the edge of the cliff. I guess in his mind, there's no other way out. It's either I have to scale the cliff or go back to where the hunt is after him. So he's kind of pissed off that he's cornered. You can tell he's angry at this situation.
Yes, 100%. There is some desperation there in his face. He's in a tough spot.
He's in a very tough spot. Now check out the stunt work here. Now I think the far away shots would have to be a stuntman.
I would think because he is right there on the edge of that cliff. After the scene plays out, I'd like to talk about some of the stunt work here because there's no CGI in the early 80s. Anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that running right there. So you see that running, that overhead shot with Rambo running on that edge. It's a stunt guy.
Think it's a stunt guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about this during the motorcycle chase sequence on the episode before this one, where any close-up shot, of course, was Sly on the motorcycle. Anything that was remotely far away, especially back then when they didn't have high def. Now with the high def, I hate to say it, you can kind of see the cheats a little bit more. The high def allows you to see that it's not Sly's face on a lot of these things. So, yeah. Just the amazing score by Jerry Goldsmith, that Panic score.
Oh, yeah. His score is awesome. Love this score.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Please continue.
You just want to watch the movie.
I'll pick it up next time you stop.
Okay. Now, Sly is going over the ledge here, and according to Sly, I know he likes to spin tales a little bit of, but he's a bit of a storyteller in just by nature. By nature. But he did say that when he went over this edge, it was about a 15-foot drop, and he had no safety support.
Okay. That's perilous.
That's perilous, but it's not going to kill you. It'll just break your knees.
Yeah, exactly.
This shot right here, which is a great shot. This is a great trick photography.
Yes, it is.
He's going over a real ledge. There's no cable to Sly. You can see there's nothing on him here. There's no CGI wire release. Nowadays, you'd have an actor go over it. He's got more cables than you can count tied around him that are all CGI'd out.
Mm-hmm. This is Sylvester Stallone doing this right here.
That's that close-up shot that I'm talking about. Anything that's close. And it's a beautiful shot, too. I think the restored version of this film is just the green and the plush. It's just...
yes. I don't know did you ever pick up the 4K disc?
No, I haven't yet. You did. Have you watched it yet on that?
Yes. Yeah, I watched it the other night.
What are your thoughts on that version?
The transfer is beautiful. When he's in the cave with the flames. I mean, you are right, though. The 4K does reveal some secrets, but overall, it's a beautiful transfer.
Can you believe this film is 40 years old?
No, not really. It looks like this guy looks like it was a movie shot yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks great.
So I love the sequence coming up because you got the helicopter now coming with Galt. Galt is in the helicopter. Now, this helicopter we learned last episode, I don't know if you caught it on your viewing there recently, but it's from the local lumber camp. It's not a police helicopter. So the guy flying the helicopter is just a lumber guy.
Yes,
which makes more sense when you kind of watch the actions of Galt and how he threatens the guy.
Yeah, they address it in the movie, don't they?
I don't remember the exact dialogue as per what Galt says. We'll get to it, but my understanding is that Teasel told them, go get the helicopter from the lumber yard.
Yeah, this helicopter's on loan.
Right.
Okay.
But I think the guy flying it is a lumber worker. He's not. I don't think he's law enforcement. It's funny. I've seen this movie 100 times, but now doing this in piecemeal and breaking down every scene, I actually keep learning stuff even as I watch it again. Like, I've probably seen this 100 times, easily.
Yeah.
He's trapped. Art, this is Teasel. He's headed for Chapman Gorge. Chapman Gorge! Head him off!
Now, this is great work here. This rappelling this stunt guy, no, that can't be Sly, and I'm 99% sure it isn't Sly, because this is a faraway shot. This guy is rappelling down this rock face. That's a guy on a rock face, and I don't know what he's holding on to with what.
I would imagine the way this is framed, there's probably some safety equipment concealed in there somewhere. They may have got a free climber to do some of this stuff. Because, I mean, there are guys who will scale, just sheer rock cliffs with their bare hands.
It's insane.
I would be surprised if there wasn't. I mean, you can't see it from here, but I'd be surprised if there wasn't some sort of harness or something involved in this shot, just because it's so far away.
Now, the main stunt guy, his name is Buddy Joe Hooker, and he's still alive today, and I went to look for him online. We'll get to him in a second, but that may or may not be him here. I'm not sure. They had 14 different stuntmen for this show that were credited, so quite a few stunts, obviously, for this movie. Mm-hmm. But Buddy Joe Hooker is the main dude, and he still does stunts today in his 70s. It's insane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he probably sets things up more now. He's probably like a consultant type thing.
Sure.
Yeah. So, of course, now Rambo/Sly slid down this rock face. And now this close-up, obviously he's not very high. They can't, they got crew all around him with the cameras, what have you. That's just your classic camera trickery with close-up cliff shots that old movies do. But these squibs that go off are quite real, and it also becomes an issue when he's hiding behind the tree later, but I'll just say it now. So when the squibs go off, Sly had to, time himself to when they'd go off, or else they'd just go in his eye. He has no eye protection on. And they're right next to his face. And he said that when they were going off, they were zinging off his arms and stuff, that it was quite painful.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Good grief.
And this is a great shot here. So you got Sly hanging onto that edge, and the helicopter coming over to his left shoulder. It's a great cinematography shot.
Yeah. I like how he's sharing the frame with the helicopter. With this shot, there's a real helicopter flying into this gorge.
Yes.
And Sly is hanging there.
They had to do this a few times, and Sly was, I wouldn't say he wasn't happy, but he was getting tired, and the squibs kept hurting him, and the wind was real. Some of the wind issues that we see the helicopter go through were real wind conditions that they were experiencing. This is all a very dangerous situation in real life.
Oh, wow.
Now, this actor, I forget his name. I think it's Jack something, who passed away, who plays Galt. Anyways, the actor that plays Galt, that's really him hanging in that helicopter. Again, a lot of shots of him in the helicopter. No CGI. That's the actor kind of hanging out of that helicopter with the rifle. They did a lot of great shots of him. So, again, just these actors really put themselves on the line for this film.
Yeah, yeah.
There he is, on the cliff.
So this shot here, you got this faraway shot, and you can see that the stunt double has his face right hidden into the rocks, which kind of makes sense.
Sure.
It's a combination of Rambo's hiding, trying to make himself as small as possible against the rock face, but at the same time, the stunt double's not showing his face to the crowd.
Exactly.
But what do you see there? Like, any indication what he might be holding on? Safety gear anywhere?
Well, on this particular shot, no, because I think you're close enough to where the stuntman is that you would see this stuff, and unless he's just holding into a spike or something that's been put into the mountain there.
That's insane. I wonder how high he is, because we don't see the bottom. This shot.
No, I mean, he's at least 30 feet high.
30, 40. And we know there are some falls coming, so they obviously have airbags underneath that we don't see off screen.
Sure, sure.
So even if the guy quote unquote falls, still scary, but I suspect right now there's the what do you call those big airbags that capture people? There's something
just like airbag. That's what I would call them. Probably some stuntman term for it. But
yeah. I wish there was some sort of device where we could look on.
I know. If only we had access to an encyclopedia that had everything.
Encyclopedia. That'd be amazing. That was like instantaneously gave you answers. That'd be crazy.
You could talk to and ask.
That's weird. Now you're just being crazy. Here comes the squibs. This shot here, this is what I'm talking about. Look how close that helo gets.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to wonder in this particular shot, how far do you think Sly's just standing on something?
He has to be. He has
of course.
to be. Yeah, no,
of course.
I mean, look, I love Sly, and I know Rambo, the character, superhuman strength, but of course Sly has to be. He's standing on something. Absolutely. There's no way he could hang, because it takes a long time to get these shots. You can't just.
No, of course.
Yeah. See this shot here, like this is a helo. This is an actual helicopter in the air. You can see the blades going. So this actor who plays Galt, he's just leaning right out of that thing.
Mm-hmm. A movie of this vintage, if they were using trickery, it would be given away very easily. The green screen and all that stuff from the 80s.
Back then.
Well, that's true. It would be like some kind of rear projection, but that stuff was always looked fake.
Oh,
and that's how you know that this is done practically in camera, because there's none of those telltale signs.
And the actor that plays Galt, he is so pissed off. He just can't wait to shoot this guy. The glee and anger, the combination of glee and anger he has now of literally shooting this guy off the cliff is, he has thrown any kind of human care out of the world. He wants this guy dead.
Yes, 100%. Quite menacing.
He can't wait.
What the hell's going on? What are you doing? We're just supposed to spot him.
Another great shot here. You see the guy, Galt, hanging out of the helicopter, holding the rifle. The helo's right there. But that's just just how close that helicopter is to Stallone.
Yes, that's fantastic.
So we know that Stallone is high enough that the helicopter's there too, if that makes sense.
Yes. I got to imagine whatever that he's on, they've erected some kind of scaffolding or something. For him to stand on, because you're right. We can't see what's going on right underneath Sly, but that helicopter is 50 feet away from him.
Or it's just movie magic, my friend. Movie magic.
Well, I don't know. Films of this vintage give away their movie magic pretty easily, and that looks pretty real.
Hold it steady. I can't. We're in a thermodraft. Jesus, Norm, he's stuck there. He can't go anyplace.
The helicopter pilot's okay, look, I'm in a thermal draft. The helicopter's going everywhere. I can't hold it steady for you to shoot, even if you wanted to hit him. We're told just to spot him. We spotted him. And now Galt will give his response to how he feels about this helicopter pilot. telling him what's up.
You don't fly this thing, right? I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you.
I swear to God.
I swear. Now, that is some pretty rough ADR right there.
Sure.
The dialogue.
Well, it's
the
a helicopter
dubbing.
going off. There's no way they can.
Yeah. Well, but it seems like they could have tried just a little bit harder. Like maybe he's raising his voice instead of
Interesting.
I'm going to
kill you.
I'm going to kill you. It seems like he'd be like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, you're right. They maybe could have. That may be something they could have had him yell it for real.
Yeah, just
so you could hear me.
Yeah,
because there's no way. It's so noisy on a helicopter. You're not hearing that.
Yeah, and it just punch it up a little bit.
No, that's fair.
You know,
but the makeup job on his face is amazing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got the puffy eye, and now Teasel's trying to get a hold of Galt. Sheriff Galt, come in, Galt.
Come in, Galt. Hold it steady, you son of a bitch.
Galt, come in, goddammit.
We talked about this before, but Teasel, in his own right, or in his own characteristic, good kind of way, he's still trying to have some sort of semblance of order to this chaos. He's trying his darndest to keep this under order.
Yes. You know, he doesn't want Galt to assassinate Rambo.
No.
You know, at this point in time, you know, he's trying, like you said, to maintain some order in this situation, which is rapidly losing control of.
Right. Like Galt's saying, get in closer and hold it steady. Two impossible tasks. We can't get much closer to this rock face, and the deeper they go into the rock, I think the tougher the thermal draft is.
Hold it steady. Galt, talk to me, damn it. I want to know what's going on.
All right, so now, of course, Rambo recognizes enough gunplay. He's like, the helicopter is pretty darn close. He's got his two, you call them tracer shots or aiming shots, or we call it in the military like sighting shots. So Galt is actually ex-military as well. He knows what he has to do now. So he's, I got him easy. So he knows on this next shot, I got this guy. And he's not that far away anymore with the long range, with the long scope rifle there. And he's going to hit, and Rambo knows this. So now Rambo's like, okay, take the shot, which will make me fall anyways and or kill me, or do I jump? This scene coming up, does it ever get less thrilling?
No, it's fantastic. And it's because, you know, this was all done on location. It's a guy jumping off a sheer face of a mountain.
It's insane. It's one of the most insane stunts I've ever seen on screen.
It's great.
Go back because to this day, I don't know how they do this stunt. They are insane. Just so you know, there's three parts of the stunt. Okay.
Yes.
There's the first guy. Buddy Joe Hooker is the first fall. That's him, the big long one. And I don't know who does the second part, but there's another stuntman who does that second sequence that we just see there, just when he started to hit the trees, which is insanity to me.
Yes.
So how does he stop?
There's no airbag there in the pine trees.
Yeah, I don't know what to this day, I get the first part. We kind of get the way they film it. He just will fall off screen into an airbag. Still a crazy stunt, probably 100-foot drop. Insanity, absolute insanity to me. And I love how when we see Rambo fall, but that shot that they do above and the helicopter's in the air as the body falls.
When they shoot it from down low, and you see the chopper and his body in the same shot. That had to take a lot of planning.
Oh, yeah.
And the execution of that was brilliant.
So let's watch that again, and then we'll talk about the third part of the stunt, because that involves Mr. Stallone.
Wow.
So Sly did that last third.
Yeah, that's
when he hits the branch,
crazy.
When he hit that initial hit of that.
That's the most violent part of the stunt.
Sly did it. And he only did it twice only. They wanted him to do it a third time, and he told them to basically F off.
Oh, wow.
Sly hits that branch, and he said that the idea was to hit his stomach, more the soft part of his stomach, but he hit his ribs. Now, this guy, he has almost died in I don't know how many films. Seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren almost kills him in part 4.
Yes.
What boxer punched him in auditioning for Rocky? I think it was 3. I forget which boxer it was, but I don't know if you heard about this one. So he wanted a real boxer for part 3, but they got Clubber instead. Because he said that a real boxer punched him just in the arm. He said it was like a shock went through his body and he couldn't use his arm anymore for a while.
What?
Yeah. And then in Expendables, he broke his neck fighting Steve Austin.
Oh my gosh.
He has a metal plate in his neck right now and they kept that in the film as well. So this injury here was real. He hurt himself. And so the wincing of the pain is real. When he goes, ow, Jesus, that was a real... We'll go back to that again.
Okay.
That's the second stunt guy, but this is Sly coming now. All right?
And that's him hitting the ground, obviously.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's no... You know how these movies, they'll do like... The stuntman will jump over the boxes and then the actor comes up to reveal his face.
Yeah.
That old switcheroo.
Yes.
Then the Sly didn't want that. He wanted, I want to be in the trees, and I will follow the trees, and the audience will see that it was me that fell the trees.
There you go. That's dedication. It works.
He's insane.
It holds up. I mean, it holds up 100%. Yeah.
It does hold up. There's a great sequence in Terminator 2 where T-100 is being chased, or he's actually trying to catch up, to the kid on the motorcycle, and he does that motorcycle jump.
The jump.
Now, that's a great sequence, but you could totally tell it's a stunt double. They had no choice.
No, they linger on it way too long.
Yeah.
And you can see it's not Arnold.
It's not Arnold. And today's with high def and everything else. Now, they could CGI Arnold's face on it easily enough for any kind of Redux type versions, but...
Sure.
But that's what I love about Sly. He's doing these. That's why I say, if you see Sly's face, he wants you to know he did it.
Yep.
Now, this shot here of Galt coming down the helicopter, again, just this great camera work with the helicopter. And it's going to do this amazing hovering job as they try to shoot Rambo behind the tree. And again, Sly was talking about how this was really important. He talks about the timing. He knew when the squibs were going to go off because they had to go off. Watch it and think about what this means for an actor, that he has to make sure his face isn't in front of the squib when it fires off the tree. Or else all that stuff's going to go in his eyes.
Yeah.
So watch it as he times that. Where'd that guy go? Oh, there he is. He's on the ground.
There he is. Over there, dummy.
Over there, dummy. That's great. Over there, dummy.
Galt, he just hates everybody.
He does. He's a lot of the reason that this has happened.
Yeah.
He's the one who initially escalated everything in the basement there.
Well, he said, clean him up. Clean him up. Yeah. Now, this is another great framework here. You've got the helicopter hovering down just like that, and you got Rambo with his back against a tree. That's a great frame right there.
Yeah.
You don't see framework like that today. I don't know what it is about this shot here. You don't quite see that. It's so real looking, because it is real. There's just no
real.
CGI.
There's no trickery here. And like I said, early 80s trickery always gives itself away, but this is real. All these elements are really together in a frame.
It's awesome.
That's Soldier Boy.
Watch those scripts go off. Timing. Helicopter goes back. It's great. The helicopter goes back and forth. The squibs go off. Sly has to react. And you can see the squibs are real because look, they took a chunk out of the tree.
Yeah, the tree is damaged.
Yeah, and that was Sly's face right there. He had to move it just in time.
I'm telling you to get on his radio. What's going on up there?
Now this famous scene, he grabs a rock. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want him dead, Paul. I want him alive. Do you hear me? Mark, come in.
Now this is actually very realistic. Rambo did, but if the helicopter gets hit like that in the windshield, that would startle anyone, especially if you didn't see it coming. So it's very plausible that the pilot's going to jerk the joystick around a little bit.
Yeah.
And Galt does another great stunt coming up here. We forget about this one. This is a good fall, too, by another stuntman out of the helicopter. That's a great fall, man.
That is. He jumped out of that helicopter.
Yeah, that's again a guy falling out of a helicopter and it goes off screen there behind the ledge. You know, you're looking over the side there, but he's hitting the rocks below. That's 120 feet fall.
Yeah, and he's falling out of a moving vehicle. It's stationary, but helicopter's still moving around.
There's no parachute on this guy. There's no safety net. This guy's going to land again on that airbag, I presume, down there. Obviously not the rocks.
Sure. Yeah.
These bodies that are falling, they make it clear. They want you to see the arms are flailing. They're moving. This is not a dummy.
They're not dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always tell the dummy falls because they just flop.
Yeah, they're just flopping around.
Yeah, the guy's like moving his arms around. And I like the ADR of the Galt screen because that's scary. That's scary. It actually, he sounds, rightfully so, he's terrified because that rock face is coming.
Yeah, he's falling to his death and he knows that.
It's not the fall that kills you. It's the impact.
It's the impact. It's true.
Rambo's realized, okay, the threat is over. The guy fell out. Fair enough. Fly away. Again, this is a great scenery here. Rambo doesn't waste any time. He jumps down the rock face to go check out the casualty. When he brings up Galt's bloody face, this is I would say gory is not the right word, but this movie doesn't have a lot of, for a movie called First Blood, it really doesn't have a lot of quote-unquote gore. This is probably the goriest part of the film.
Yeah, I would say you're right.
He brings up that face right to his face. Do you know what he's seeing in that moment? Do you have any guesses? Well, let's watch. You tell me what Rambo was experiencing in that moment. So he grabs the rifle. There you go. He's like, it's like those video games, you know, you kill the mob or whatever, kill the enemy. You gotta loot the weapon. So you grab the rifle.
Get the weapons.
But it's important that we see that he has the weapon. This is important.
Yes.
And I love this shot here. So the body's on the ground, and you see the steam coming off his freshly broken body. This body is broken. The body is broken open, so there's steam coming from it.
That's a great observation. That's not something I actually picked up on.
But that's amazing that they put that in. Obviously, it's
sure
the makers of the film to show you that it's cold out, and it was cold out in real life. But they wanted to show you that the body, because it's warm inside, and as the fluids are leaving this guy's broken body, it's causing steam in the air. What an amazing effect. So what are your thoughts here?
Well, it's very creepy because Galt's eyes are open. At first, I thought he was assessing if this guy's alive or not. But then, as the scene goes on, I don't really know what he's thinking. I mean, he's
I didn't
probably...
want to give you a trick question.
Okay.
Listen to the music cue change. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. Listen to the music, how the music changes. It's a different music score comes in. And it's a music score they used before at the jail sequence. So let's see if you recognize the music score and what it represents.
He's seeing Viet Cong soldier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His post-traumatic stress disorders come in again. Yeah. He's seen the bloody face of a white person, you could almost argue, even though this is an enemy that he had to, for self-defense, he took down. And side note, it's the only person he kills in the whole film.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And let's be honest, this guy had it coming.
Sure. And you know what? He didn't even mean to kill him. He threw the rock at the chopper, and the pilot's reaction dumped him out of the door.
Right. It was a chain of events from the rock throw. You could almost argue, had Galt fallen into the copter guy would have been like, I can't do this. I'm out of here. Like, he's going to keep chucking rocks at my screen. I'm not going to be able to look out the windshield eventually.
Yes, exactly.
So that musical cue. So I don't know how many people catch that. So when that cue kicks in, you see that look of terror in Rambo's face. He's looking at this bloody face. And that's that musical cue telling the audience, hey, this is a flashback.
Yep.
Now the dogs are barking. He doesn't have time anymore. They snapped him out of it. He hears they're hot on his trail. It's not over yet. Little trivia here. He takes the jacket off Galt, but we never see it again.
Huh. Yeah, I guess you're right, because he doesn't wear it.
The idea was that Rambo did take it to wear to keep warm, but they kind of decided it looked cooler for Rambo just to be in that canvas outfit instead. So aesthetically, they just decided it looks better for
the movie.
For the movie. Did you catch that? The way he drops Galt's body, you just hear the head hit the rock. What a great sound.
Like a splat sound.
Yeah.
Yes.
Audience, I want you to hear that again. So Ramble's taking off the jacket off Galt, this lifeless corpse, and once he's got the jacket off, he just drops Galt into the rocks. I love that. There's no care, which is very telling. Like, Rambo doesn't carefully place this. There's no respect to this body at all. And why should there be? But I love how he drops the body. Let's listen to that splat again of the head hitting the rock.
That's great.
So Rambo grabs the gun, grabs the jacket. Teasel and his team with the dogs, they get to the very cliff where, of course, Rambo's jumped off. They probably can't believe what's just happened. Well, right now they don't know what's happened, but they got to the edge of the cliff and they're going to start piecing some of it together.
Yeah.
Art Galt, come in. Helicopter, come in. God damn it. Christ, look.
Again, the lifeless body of Galt on the rocks.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Give me the binoculars, sir. Oh, no. Shh.
Look at that.
Wow. That seems a lot more bloody than we last saw him, but I guess he's bleeding more.
You could argue that probably was there, but you're right. For this shot, they made sure to show you just when this body hit the rocks, it exploded.
Yeah.
Well, clean him up. Somebody clean Galt up.
Oh.
So, of course, now Teasel's looking through the binoculars to confirm, that is one dead Galt.
That's his buddy.
That's his buddy, yeah. Now, you have to keep in mind, you could argue, why is he not more upset here? Keep in mind, Teasel's also a Korean veteran, and he's kind of not used to, but this is not the first time he's seen someone that he knows dead.
Sure.
He's experienced loss before from combat, but still, he's obviously upset. What are your thoughts on Brian Dennehy in this film?
I was going to talk about him just
Please,
now.
go.
I think we've all seen Brian probably in a lot of things. Most of the ones I think of, he's an affable, likable character. And he starts out this movie almost like that.
Right.
I mean, of course, when he has the chat with Rambo in the police cruiser, things start taking a darker turn. But I think his performance in this movie is fantastic. He's not a mustache twirling villain, I guess, kind of like Galt may be, because Galt just seems like an a-hole. But Teasel's not like that. I mean, he's certainly not on the side of good, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
He's complicated.
Yeah, exactly. And Brian Dennehy is great in this movie.
Like I said, he does everything. He tries to keep this manhunt in order. He's really made it personal by killing his friend Galt, even though that's how he sees it, right? That's just how he's going to register this killing. There's no other way for him to see it, but this guy's been killed by... Now, keep in mind, well, we're going to get to it, because that's the scene we're going to end on, is when they get to Galt's body after that sequence. But they're going to discover who Rambo is shortly. But now we've got this sequence here where Rambo's about to sew up his arm.
Oh, yeah.
Little side story here. So we see him sew up his arm, but what Sly did, he went to some pharmacy in Hope. They didn't know who he was. He actually was asking for, before he sewed himself up, he actually went to the pharmacy asking for Tylenol and to see how the makeup would look to the people in the pharmacy, and they all believed it. He didn't tell them it was makeup, and he walked out with the supplies. And he says to this day, I've never told him, unless they've seen the film and recognized me in the film. He wanted to see, so he wanted to give a shout out to the makeup guys that did a great job on his arm, which they did do.
Man, this is hard. When I watched this the other night, I averted my eyes for a moment because this wound gushes.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Great makeup work. Now, it looks so realistic that when I was a kid, and unlike you, I saw this film when I was, 9 years old. And
sure.
I was such a sly mark, at a young age. And I used to remember telling my parents, no, Mom, you don't understand. I don't know how I knew, but I think I just knew inertly that because it was him hitting that tree. So even as a kid, I recognized that was Sly, at least for that second. Now, I used to think it was Sly all three parts.
Sure.
But it's not. He just does the last third, and that was by his own admission. He only does the last third of the stunt. Anyways, yeah. But that being said, I thought when I was a kid it was Sly all the way through, not understanding how stunts work. But I knew Sly hit the tree, so I remember saying because he hit the trees, I truly believed his arm was cut because of that stunt. I spent many years of my early childhood, for probably 9 to, I don't know, maybe 14, convinced that Sly really cut his arm, and why not film him sewing it up? That's how good it looks.
It looks real. it does.
Now, what he's got, though, just so you know, Jared, he's got a pump under his armpit. And so when he flexes his bicep, he's squeezing the blood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so watch for that.
I did not know that. Of course, the famous knife with the hollow handle.
It's got everything in there. It's got the...
Did you have a Rambo knife?
Please, don't insult me. What do you think?
Look, I had a Rambo knife as a kid. You could buy these freaking things at Walgreens at some point. They were everywhere.
Now, I don't know if it was called a Rambo knife, but people that made these knives, these knockoff versions, they knew exactly what they were looking like. They had the screw-out tops, the compass on. Absolutely. I legit used the compass from this knife when I used to be a Boy Scout. When I was a kid, I had a Rambo knife. So did I. There you go.
Yeah,
we're both nerds on a podcast. Go figure. Look at the trajectory of Boy Scouts. So here's where he pulls out the fishing line and the needle and thread. Now watch as he flexes his arm. He'll squeezes the pumps the blood. Right there. See that when he clenches his arm?
Oh yeah.
That's.
Oh man, that's
so well done.
It is.
Amazing. It's amazing. I like it. There's a little flex there of his bicep, though. Oops. You see that bicep flex? Bicep flex? Yeah.
The bisex.
Bisex. Hey, man. Little Freudian slip there. Hey, I got a man crush on Sly. What do you want from me?
There you go.
So, yeah. Whew, I'm red in the face here. Look, that's a close-up shot. No CGI. He tugs on it and everything, the skin tug with the needle going through. It's just a great makeup job by the crew.
Yeah, and this is only enhanced in 4K because it looks even more real. It doesn't look more fake. It looks great. It holds up.
Yeah, I need to get that 4K box. I'm going to get the whole box set in 4K. That's a gift to Ryan at Christmas time, I think.
Okay, good deal.
I can't figure it. How'd he fall out?
What's the matter?
So they're wondering how Galt fell out of the helicopter, which is a fair question because you'd have to assume they know that Rambo is only on the ground. He was on the cliff end of the ground. So they're wondering, how did Galt fall? So that's a kind of a fair... Now, the events of chasing Rambo have caused Galt's death, but even at this time, they don't quite know. They haven't talked to the helicopter guy just yet.
Sure. So that makes sense. Why would they think that Rambo was responsible for that? What could he do?
Right.
But,
he threw a rock.
He threw a rock. That's true.
Let's nail this sucker's ass. He can't be far. Will!
So that was the Orville the dog guy. Let's nail this.
Yeah.
He's really gung-ho for getting Rambo. He's almost like Galt Part 2 when it comes to chasing Rambo now.
Yes.
And now this guy here to Teasel's right, they point out Rambo. This is a great little exchange here when Rambo comes out after sewing his arm.
Looks like he wants to turn himself in.
There's one man dead! It's not my fault! I don't want any more hurt!
So this is a great shot here. They have the shot of the police crew looking down at Rambo. Then the next shot is down with Rambo looking up at the police crew. It's a great back and forth shot.
Yeah.
And he says, it's not my fault. One man dead, but it's not my fault. I don't want any more hurt. And this is very telling because he says, I don't want any more hurt. Meaning, if you come after me, more will get hurt. Like, stop chasing me. I'm dangerous. You're not dangerous. You will get hurt if you chase me.
Yeah.
Freeze! Stand right where you are. Give yourself up.
But I didn't do anything!
I'm warning you, boy. Don't make a move. I'll blow your head off.
I didn't do anything!
Now, this is an illegal firing by the police. I think. Am I wrong? I don't know. I would need Doug on this. Doug, if you're listening to this episode, send me an email at rambleseriespodcast@gmail.com and let me know if Teasel firing the shot at a suspect walking backwards. It's like, because they don't know that Galt fell down out of the helicopter because, like, even, can you shoot a fugitive? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Even just firing, because I don't think he's trying to hit him. Is this like a warning shot that he's firing? I
don't think so.
Oh, is he trying to hit him?
Yes. Look at his deputy next to him. He's got his rifle up as well. He didn't tell him to not shoot, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Now.
Oh yeah.
Now, does he get hit?
Wounded?
Does he get hit?
Well,
like, he grabs his face. Now, what do you think happens here? Does he get hit? Because it's never indicated again. What do you think he's doing here?
Maybe acting like he's shot.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
But every time I see the sequence where he goes out, he holds his head because he's holding his eye, and he's never indicates again that he's ever hit the eye.
There's no, but he doesn't have a wound there.
That's right. So I think we're led to believe here that I think that's how good Rambo is. That's how much of he's a Green Beret. He's the best. So he's been fired on. So I think he's indicating that he wants them to believe he's injured. Now they're all firing, so they're trying to kill him.
There you go.
Yeah. But Teasel does yell "ceasefire" right away.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire! Lord goddammit, ceasefire!
Think we hit him. All right, let's get down there.
See, I think we hit him. Yeah.
Move! Sheriff to base, come in.
Go ahead, Will.
Lester, we're down in the gorge. Galt's dead, all right. Where the hell is that goddamn chopper?
Galt's dead, all right. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, they're looking for the guy. Like, where'd the helicopter go? What? Dude, he's just gone.
Well, that helicopter guy, he's probably got some post-traumatic stress now.
He's flipped out.
He's just a lumber guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't come, Will. Says there's a storm headed your way.
I don't give a goddamn what's on its way. I want that chopper back here right now. I don't want Galt's body out here all night.
I'll do what I can.
So, interesting. So, Teasel wants the chopper back to get Galt's body out of there, which is, I guess, fair, but that's an interesting thing to be kind of worked up about at this point.
Yes, especially when there's a dangerous fugitive that they're supposed to be tracking here. They're all taking a moment for Galt.
They're all taking a moment, yeah. Now, this guy on the radio, who's not a part of the crew, but he's part of the crew, but he's not here at the action. He says, "Listen, Will, you picked one hell of a guy to mess around with. This came over the teletype." Now, I looked up what teletype is. Do you want to know what it is?
Oh, I think I know.
Okay, do tell.
It's an early caveman fax machine. I mean, fax machines are now used by cavemen, but it was sort of this instantaneous communication that would print out a piece of news or give you a bunch of information.
It was, you're close. So what a teletype was, you're right about the fax idea. Meaning, if you had a teletype and I had a teletype, it's like a text message. I could type to you, and your teletype would actually type out what I'm typing to the teletype.
Yes. Okay, I got you. So it's instantaneous text communication.
On paper. So it's just a typewriter is typing what I'm typing at my office. So Office A types out this information. So this came out of the teletype. And you say, well, why don't you just make a phone call? Well, it's the same idea. Like, this is now on official page. Now I have a printout of...
Yeah, you have a hard copy.
I have a hard copy of the information. That's all it was. It was just a typewriter typing out what I'm typing.
You're correct in that that's caveman text messaging.
It is. It's just...
on paper. That's exactly what it is.
It's text messaging on paper. And what's funny is, again, a simple phone call is still faster and easier. Just like today.
Exactly.
Just like today, texting is not easier and faster than a phone call. But anyways.
No, exactly.
Listen, Will, you sure picked one hell of a guy to mess around with. This came over the teletype a few minutes ago. John Rambo is a Vietnam vet. He's a Green Beret, Congressional Medal of Honor. Guy's a war hero.
Jesus, that freak?
I knew there was something about that guy.
So...
David Caruso.
Yeah. So Mitch, I knew there was something about that guy. Now, he's kind of excited that he caught on. There was something about this guy that was above and beyond just a normal, like, hippie, straggler, vagrant that this guy was.
Yeah.
This is what they're indicating to both the police and to Teasel is like, hey, you guys are chasing down a Green Beret. This is the best of the best. This guy is a Vietnam vet. He knows how to fight. He knows how to go on the... This isn't your average long-haired hippie walking through the forest. But that doesn't scare Teasel. It actually just irritates him, makes him more angry.
Yeah. Because
he's a Korean vet, and he doesn't like the idea this guy's a vet. It actually just makes him hate him more.
Exactly.
And so, but Mitch is kind of excited by it, and he's gonna hear about it from Teasel here in just a second. This is what will end on this sequence here. But he's about to hear from Teasel, like, stop talking about this guy in such a way.
Yeah.
I double-checked it, Will. What do you want me to do?
Look at that great acting there by Dennehy, where he's trying to process things. He's got a lot going through his mind here. I double-checked it, Will. What do you want me to do? And he's like thinking, it's like, I don't know. At this moment right now, I just don't want any of this to be happening right now.
Exactly.
I want you to do what I told you to do, goddammit. Get that chopper back here now. Out.
Green Beret. War hero. That's great. That's
Why don't you
just
shut your
great.
mouth? Now, what the hell's the matter with you guys? He's one man. He's wounded.
So now here you go. They bring up the wounded again. I think that was a play by Rambo to make it seem like he's weak, he's injured. So they're kind of like, they're dawdling here a little bit. But in that time, John's just getting further and further away from them.
Yeah.
They think he's a wounded animal, but he's not. He's not as crippled as they think. He's actually, well, that'll be the next episode. He's setting up stuff right now. While they're sitting around here contemplating what to do next, John hasn't stopped working.
Yeah.
Those Green Berets, they're real badasses.
Why don't you let the state police handle this?
Okay, so that part triggers. So Mitch says, why don't we let the state police handle this? Now, this pisses off Teasel. Do you want to guess why? Or do you have any theories why that might be?
Well, I don't know. There may be some small man syndrome there.
I think so.
Where no. We don't need them in here. We can do this. It certainly seems to me that's where his head's at.
It's a combination of that, and I also think it's due to the fact that, well, we'll see his speech why this pisses him off, but the idea is this is a mess that his sheriff's department started this mess, and he doesn't want to, in his own pride, doesn't want somebody else cleaning it up. And he's also mad that Galt is dead because of this mess. So, yeah, state police come in and take care of it, sure. But Mitch, the youngest on the crew, saying, hey, let the more capable department handle this, that really pisses him off. So here's his response to this. Look at this anger here, right here.
I know.
Come here, boy. Come here, God damn it! Look at him! Look at him! That's our Galt boy. He and I were friends when your mama was still wiping your nose! Now he's dead. He's dead because of that psycho out there. Now you listen, boy, and you listen to me good. I'm gonna get that son of a bitch. And I'm gonna pin that Congressional Medal of Honor to his liver. And I'm gonna do it with you or without you.
Wow. I love that moment. Now, apparently, that was done in about 4 or 5 takes, and Dennehy was really pulling on David Crusoe's hair that he had some red hair in those gloves after the takes were over.
Oh, wow.
And Crusoe just took it like a young man. You know, he allowed that. That's real acting. That's awesome.
Sure. That's awesome. I also think maybe Teasel, do you think there could be he doesn't want other people involved because they're complicit in what's been happening here?
Not just that. I think it's beyond that, too. And maybe I'm cheating a little bit because I read the book.
Okay. What's the book say about that?
But I think they're leaning towards this in the film, too. But now it's not just that it's personal, but it's like, it's his hunt. You know, it's his Moby Dick.
Sure.
No one's taking this kill from it. This is my kill. I'm taking that's what he's saying. I'm going to pin that medal on his liver. He wants this guy dead, and I'm going to be the one that does it. Nobody else. With or without you, this is my hunt.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Wow. What an episode. Boy, you were so lucky to have these sequence events.
I know. I mean, when I was watching the movie the other night, I was like, man, well, I hope I get to talk about at least part of the cliff. And we got the cliff. We got the whole sequence here.
Yeah. Well, the next sequence is good, too. This is the chase in the forest and some of the traps, these MacGyver traps that Rambo sets up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Well, I don't know at this moment who my guest host for the next episode is. I think I remember who it is, but I don't want to say just in case I'm wrong because I've asked a couple of people already. But anyways, got some good guest hosts coming up. Jared, what do you think? How did you enjoy covering First Blood, and would you be willing to come on again for a future Rambo episode?
100%, man. Whatever you need me, just give me a text. I'll be happy to talk about the other R franchise from Mr. Stallone.
Awesome. That's awesome that you bought the 4K too. That's great. Hey, you know what, Mr. Stallone? I mean, if anything, you're getting a little bit more, money in your pocket. People are buying your stuff.
That's true. I'm a completist, so I'm going to buy the rest of them on 4K. So
there you go.
You got something started here.
Awesome. Plug yourself one more time for those people that didn't write it down the first time.
Okay. Well, my show is called The Hyperspace Podcasting in the 25th Century with my pals Matt and Mike. If you like movies, TV, music, comic books, all that stuff from the 70s and 80s, come on over and give us a listen on your favorite podcatcher of choice.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jared. And all right, Jared, that's it. That's the end of the episode.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.